It's Sunday, and I guess Tuesday is the actual Halloween, but today is Sunday, and I think a lot of the Halloween celebration went on yesterday and last night here at the Elizabethan Gardens. What was it, Friday or yesterday? I think yesterday they were having a big Halloween I guess exhibit or whatever you want to call it, Halloween party, I guess, for the gardens, which is probably pretty neat. I don't know what you did, but it's also about the same time of year as the Day of the Dead, which is like a 2-day celebration, or even in some ways I think like a little bit longer than that. But primarily it's Day of the Dead changes just a little bit. I don't know the exact dates every year, but it's roughly the same as Halloween, and it's based basically in the same history. I've done other videos on it, but this year it's a warm here. It's a warm fall, a warm October, and we're in El Nino too, so that might actually be contributing a little bit to the nice weather, the warm weather. But I don't know. But it's still, the leaves are falling, and it's that changing of the season, and that's that spirit of getting ready for sort of the dark and cold winter that's coming. It's sort of the changing of the seasons, and it kind of represents the changing of life, and that's has a lot to do with these celebrations. It's kind of like the celebration of the holiday tends to kind of align itself with the spirit of the season that it's in. And these, even though October is September 21st is really that's the first day of fall, and then the first day of winter is December 21st, and so we have Christmas is really close to December 21st because that was always a major celebration. It was the winter solstice, and then same thing in the summer. There was a celebration in June 21st or whatever, which we don't really have a real significant holiday right around June 21st. But some places probably do. Up further in the north, up at the extremes of the latitudes, is where you would really have the day of the midnight sun. Actually, there is a big celebration if you get further north, the day of the midnight sun, because the sun doesn't set as you get close to the Arctic Circle on June 21st. But these things are important to us, and they're all important to our culture. They're fun, but they have a significance. They tie humanity together, both in the now, because so many people are celebrating it, but also through history it's been celebrated. So it's a tie into to history. And then with Halloween itself, it's a lot about these spirits and the Day of the Dead. It's about the spirits and your ancestry and all of those kinds of things, and also the meaning of what it means to kind of be prepared for the unknown. Winters were full of unknowns because it could be very hard times in the long winter. Obviously, there was famine and things like that could happen, and it gets dark, and darkness it plays a role in our psychology and on our spirit. And if you're in the northern latitudes, where a lot of these holidays really got rooted in the northern latitudes, it was really dark. Right now, the days are already short. And so if you were up in Scandinavia, whatever, Northern Europe, and all around the closer you get to the Arctic Circle. And so it's all really, really important, and it's good to celebrate these things and celebrate them today, even though our modern world, we're not. It's also a good time to remind yourself to get connected back to nature, and which is a lot to do with the present and being present and mindful. It's very important if you get out away from modern technology and things, because it's in nature we get closer to being in the moment, being in the present lots of times. And so it's something that you can practice, and it's something that you can develop in your brain. Your brain is flexible and it's plastic, and you teach it you can train it. I say teach it, it's probably not the best word. Training it, training your own brain. And just like you train your body, you put good information in, you get good information out, and if you do good exercises with your brain, it gets stronger and more resilient. And so we all experience mindfulness and being in the present moment. All humans do, but you can actually do that with a conscious effort in training and get better at it. And it's really important today, especially because we have so many things trying to pull our attention away all the time, and that causes all kinds of societal disruptions for the individual. So I think when you're taking a test, you're real focused on the test, or if you're playing a sport and you're really focused on the game and other things like that. But they're good examples of focusing your mind and focusing your attention. That's happening. That's something what would be very similar to or to what they call mindfulness. Mindfulness practices like in yoga and that sort of thing. That would be a similar, comparable state of mind. And so you can kind of see those things and say, how do I get to that? How do I do that more? How do I pull myself back into that moment of focus? Because that moment of focus, and I'm back down to the water now. So you probably don't want to see me. You probably want to see that beautiful view. But how do we, use that so that we, in everyday situations, are more making better decisions and interacting with people better and treating people better? Because ideally, if we're doing things the right way and we've trained our mind to be more mindful and more in the present moment, in theory anyways, we should react better to situations. We should be able to be more thoughtful with people and not overreacting, and trying to understand that all people they're here and they have a right to be here just like we do, and we're all part of this thing together, and we need to be mindful and thoughtful and judicious in the way that we interact, and try not to be argumentative unless it's important to argue. Don't argue for no reason, and argue in a polite way, in a way that's productive. Argument's not bad in and of itself. Argument's a very important part of life, for example, but when it's done with just purely reactive emotions, it becomes a very, at best, unproductive, and at worst, a very destroying kind of thing. It destroys relationships. So argument has to be argue in and of itself is just a thing. It's when two people disagree, and then they, instead of, you can disagree and then not argue and just disagree, and a lot of times that's all you need to do. There's no reason to prove your point or to prove their point. But if it's a situation where an important conclusion is trying to be drawn and it's going to have an impact on people, or you're in something together and you're working on it together, and it's important that you make the best decision in the long run, then you need to have a process for arguing, because it needs to be a peaceful and productive process in which you're trying to come to a better point at the end with less conflict. Oh, big old mullets are jumping here. So yeah, this is the time of year where the mullets lay their eggs. All right, well, I love you and happy Halloween.